Meow, Huples cat. So today I was supposed to get my vaccination. I am frontline staff. I work in every single area of a major teaching hospital. I regularly interface with both staff, patients and visitors. And there's only 6 of us that do our job for 64% of the time the hospital's open. We're critical staff. When I call sick, they replace me with 3 to 4 other people. Of the 6 of us, 1 person can't be vaccinated because she's pregnant, and 3 people are vaccinated because they work casual elsewhere. My hospital was able to be so incompetent that they were able to put us down as category 4. No patient contact at all. Completely untrue. We go to every single code in the hospital. What? Now yes, things do get missed, but it's the manager's responsibility, and he screwed up, and he's screwed up many times. And on this particular occasion, what he screwed up is put me in danger of possible death. And again, he's probably going to face no consequences. So long story short, I booked in as soon as I could for my vaccination. And then the day before, within 24 hours, they cancelled it. They said, we're not doing any first vaccinations anymore because we don't have any vaccine and we can only just do the follow-ups. Which is fine, except you're only allowed to book vaccination 3 days in advance. So they're allowing people to book vaccinations with only a 3-day window without sufficient vaccine. That again is incompetence. It's also very upsetting. People have to book dog care and child care and come in on their days off. Until recently, if you work nights, it was completely unavailable to hospital staff in a major teaching hospital to be vaccinated before or after a night shift. So what I did yesterday was I got somebody to phone in for me and book me a last call appointment because they had vaccine left over. So I went down to see if I was on the last call list, and I wasn't. And there was 34 people on the last call list, and I get to see who is getting vaccinated. Not on the last call list, but who is being booked in for vaccination. It's an absolute disgrace. So I've informed my employer that because they're not providing safety for me, I am working to rule. When I work, I will not be going into other parts of the hospital. I will stay in my office. I will do everything by the phone and also by emergency radio when security is involved. If there is an actual fire or an actual flood, I will gown up and I will go, but only for those events. It's absolutely not acceptable in 2021 that hospitals were able to implement their own vaccination criteria without really following any sense or central guidelines. Of course, some people always are going to be first and some people are always going to be last. The point I'm making here is that the incompetence of not designating critical care workers as critical is astounding. For example, most people on the channel know Kitty. She works often in charge of the main level 3 ventilatory ICU. She frequently has to go to the COVID units and nurse COVID patients there. She frequently, half the time, is spent rapid response, where she goes to all areas of the hospital and often is intubating and transporting COVID positive and suspect patients. She initially was also not placed in a priority category for vaccination. So she was placed behind, as I was, casual staff who work as activity aides in the long-term care hospital across the road from us. A hospital that is part of my hospital that both Kitty and myself frequently have to go into to deal with in crisis situations, not as planned part of my work, but in a crisis situation, floods, disasters, and very seriously deteriorating patients. It's a disgrace. So make of it what you will. I will put up some video and you'll see that they're spinning this. They've opened big vaccination centre and then they closed it the next day.
A Toronto sign lit up tonight in pink, a short-lived celebration for the opening of this new COVID vaccination centre.
We will only be able to operate this proof of concept clinic for an initial 5 days due to the lack of availability of COVID-19 vaccine.
All appointments after Friday now cancelled. The reason? The Moderna vaccine it was using reallocated after Pfizer announced it was retooling this Belgian facility to ramp up production of its vaccine, a move that will result in a 4-week shortfall in the Canadian supply, now keenly felt across the country.
By the end of today or early tomorrow, Albertans will have no more vaccine doses in storage
Vaccination plans for some of the province's most vulnerable now temporarily on hold.
I personally am very disappointed that First Nation and Métis communities in Alberta are not going to receive the vaccine because of this shortage.
This Western Manitoba vaccination centre should be able to vaccinate 4,000 people a week. But it too has had to dramatically scale back its plans for the time being. BC, also among the provinces who've had to change focus from first doses to making sure crucial second doses are delivered on time.
This delay will temporarily slow our delivery into the next phase of at-risk people.
People get anxious when there's a shortage of anything. Remember when they had the toilet paper shortage?
Vaccination, she says, is in its early stages, and the amounts involved are small relative to the large-scale plans for shots in the months ahead.
I don't think this should worry people. I think actually they should be pleased that the reason this is happening is because the plant is trying to gear up to be able to turn it out faster and more.
The current shortage a bump in a long road ahead, with many months to make up for lost ground.
The other thing my hospital did, which is unbelievable, is they actually allowed people to sign up for the last call vaccine, if there's vaccine left over at the end of the day, who weren't priority. There was 34 people there ahead of me the day I went, yesterday. They are allowing people who are not working, who are at home on maternity leave. They're allowing people who are on disability at home but who happen to have hospital email but live close to the hospital. In my case, that means rich people, to get vaccinated ahead of frontline workers who are actually working with COVID. Isn't that special? Now, I do appreciate doing this was very, very difficult, but I have no idea why they did not take the vaccine to the COVID ICUs right at the beginning, on the first day, and vaccinate staff one at a time there. Yes, you have to wait 15 minutes. Yes, you need a doctor available. The incidence of collapse is very, very tiny. The importance of vaccination is very, very important. This has not been thought out. This is being handled by human resources personnel, people who have no clinical background, who do not know what they're doing. Hence, we are in a big mess. And it will be interesting to see when my employer decides to let me have the opportunity to be vaccinated. Because frankly, I'm about this close just to telling them I'm going to take my 500 hours vacation and quit. I'm that annoyed. Kitty, by the way, is going in tonight because they're so short-staffed. It's unbelievable that this is happening in 2021 when they had 10 months to plan. People really do need to be fired. There's a lot of layers of fat on the day shift in my hospital that needs to be gutted. But when that fat becomes incompetence to the point of literal endangerment, I do not understand why they have not been fired. My views are my own. They don't represent my hospital. And I can't wait to retire. It's an absolute waste of money. My hospital costs the taxpayers of Ontario $1 billion a year by giving life-saving interventions to a few specific people, but not providing much in the way of population health, not providing much in the way of community bonus. We still don't allow homeless people to sleep in empty parts of the hospital on a winter's night. They don't care about the people, they care about the rich who donate money to the foundation. Peace out. This is a Wolfie Terrier 2021 production.